The time has come, everyone. The CEO for Sony has broken the ice about the whole Spider-Man situation, with Spider-Man breaking away from the MCU and all of that type of stuff, and we're going to go ahead and get into the article here and do a deep dive read about this article and see what the CEO has to say about it. So, grab your coffee, relax, and let's get into the video. So, Sony CEO says Spider-Man left MCU partly due to Kevin Feige being stretched thin post-Fox merger. Now, this is a pretty insightful article. I haven't read the whole thing or anything, but just from what I have read, it is a pretty revealing article. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Sony Pictures chairman and CEO Tony, I am not going to even try to pronounce that last name, Vinciquerra. Okay, I guess I am going to try to pronounce that name. Vinciquerra, maybe? I don't know. Isn't losing all hope when it comes to Spider-Man. To the Spider-Man film franchise breaking up with Disney and Marvel Studios. News broke August 20th that Disney and Sony failed to agree on new terms over sharing the character, thus returning full rights for Spider-Man solely back to Sony. The split means Tom Holland's superhero will no longer appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Vinciquerra says there is no ill will between the studios, and for the moment the door is closed. The only people that are really making this an ill will type of situation are the fans. Like, it definitely isn't the studios. This is just normal business between studios. So, I don't think there's any like petty type of, emotional feelings between the studios about this entire thing. I'm sure some people aren't happy about this, but at the same time, most of the ill will is coming from the actual fans about this whole split, and not so much the actual studios. So Vinciquerra appeared at Variety's Entertainment and Technology Summit and responded, "It's a long life," when asked whether or not Spider-Man will swing back to Disney and Marvel. The comment implied that the door isn't fully closed just yet. Sorry guys, I am dealing with a cold right now, so I might sound a little bit congested and stuff, but we're going to get through this together. So the comment implied that the door isn't fully closed just yet. So, and this is something that we have to keep in mind, is that this isn't going to be like a permanent, this is the end of everything having to do with Spider-Man in the MCU. That's just not the case at all here. But it sounds like they are continually trying to work on new deals, new offers, all of that type of stuff. So who knows what is going to be happening with Spider-Man and the MCU moving forward. The CEO said that one of the reasons talks broke down between the studios is because Marvel boss Kevin Feige is stretched incredibly thin now that Disney owns Fox and the MCU has the freedom to use even more superhero properties, which is totally true. So in a way, the whole Fox-Disney merger actually affected Spider-Man being in the MCU. Because of that merge, it basically kind of sealed the deal with Sony that they're like, yeah, if Kevin Feige is going to have the time to give Spider-Man the proper attention that he deserves, then why would we continue to let Spider-Man be in the MCU when we could do it ourselves? That's kind of what it seems like the mentality is. "We had a great run with Feige on Spider-Man movies," Vinciquerra said. "We tried to see if there's a way to work it out. The Marvel people are terrific people. We have great respect for them. But on the other hand, we have some pretty terrific people of our own. Kevin didn't do all the work." And this is something to keep in mind, that yes, Marvel was involved with Sony Spider-Man, with the new Spider-Man movies. That's totally the case. But at the same time, they weren't the end-all be-all when it came to Spider-Man. Sony still had a lot of their own people working on Spider-Man, and not just Spider-Man, but we also have Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, Venom, those types of movies as well. There's a Morbius movie that's going to be coming out soon, and all of that type of stuff. So it's not just Marvel making Spider-Man solely on their own. Sony is still the one that's involved, that's still creatively involved in making these projects. Yes, Kevin Feige was kind of the shepherd in a way over the project, and that's great because Kevin obviously has a lot of experience and knowledge about how to handle superheroes. And so because of that, it was actually a very, very beneficial thing for Sony to have him come in and kind of mentor them in how to create good superhero movies, and now that they're kind of breaking away, it's kind of like the master and Padawan type of situation, where like now the Padawan can actually step up and become an actual Jedi Master or whatever. So it's kind of the same situation here with Sony, where now that Sony has the proper training and the proper experience under Feige, now they can actually take Spider-Man moving forward and do with him what they have been setting out to do. So, for the time being, Sony is moving ahead as the sole owner of the Spider-Man franchise. Owning Holland's character without having to share him with Disney means Spider-Man can more easily cross over with the Venom franchise. And not just the Venom franchise, but the Morbius franchise as well. I believe I have an article here or somewhere there's talks about him even like being part of the Morbius movie as well. Oh, I see it right here actually. Vince Zaquera added that Sony's sole ownership of Spider-Man makes it the perfect time for the studio to launch its own universe set in the Spider-Man world. In addition to the Venom movies, Sony is also planning 5 or 6 TV series set in the Spider-Man world and the Jared Leto Morbius movie. Holy crap, 5 or 6 TV series? What the heck? I didn't know about that. That's insane. Given all the projects in development, Vince Zaquera stressed the Spider-Man character will be just fine in Sony's hands and pointed to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and The Boys as Sony superhero properties that earned success outside of the MCU. Wait, The Boys was a Sony project? I did not know that. I did not know that at all. That's actually crazy. I had no idea that The Boys was a Sony project. Wow. I think that's what it's saying here. Pointed to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and The Boys, a superhero in Sony's hand. That's kind of a confusing sentence right there. I can't tell if they're saying that The Boys is a Sony project or not. But I didn't think that The Boys was Sony. I mean, I know that Amazon was the one that made it. But I don't know if Sony like helped make it or something. I think what they're just saying is that like The Boys is an example of a superhero project that worked fantastic outside of the MCU. I think that's kind of what they're saying here. Okay. Spider-Man was fine before the event movies, did better with the event movies, and now that we have our own universe, he will play off the other characters as well, Vince Zaquera said. I think we're pretty capable of doing what we have to do here. Some fans might disagree with Vince Zaquera's statement that Spider-Man was fine before the character joined the MCU, which, yeah, I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were not that great. Let's just be completely honest. Obviously, you know, the Tobey Maguire movies were much better than the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but even then, we had Spider-Man 3, where the studio just got way too involved, and because of that, they screwed up the entire movie. But overall, you know, Spider-Man has still been pretty successful. So, it sounds like for the time being, Sony's very confident with Spider-Man being in their own universe and not being a part of the MCU, which is great. I'm glad that they are confident in that. I'm happy about this move, actually. I'm excited to see Spider-Man being more of the centerpiece for Sony's Spider-Verse moving forward. I think that's going to be great. I'm excited about this. I'm excited that we at least have one character that isn't completely under the power of Disney, which is fantastic. And being that it is my favorite superhero of all time, I am very excited about that as well. So with that being said, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this article? What do you think about what Vince Zaquera has to say about this? Hopefully I did not butcher his name throughout this entire video. With that being said, let me know in the comments below what you think, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye. With my heart's desire.